Hello and welcome to the Santa Susana Model Railroad Club located in the Santa Susana Depot. My name is Josh Alexander, and during the weekends I'm the train club president, and during the week I operate as a high school physics teacher. We're honored and excited to have you here to explore our layout with us. We operate out of the 53 by 25 foot former freight room in our local Southern Pacific Depot. Our layout encompasses Simi Valley, Los Angeles, and the state of California as it appeared in the early 1950s. In our front visitor area, we have a single-decked portion. In the rear, we transition to double-deck, and we also have a double-decked middle peninsula, allowing us to bend the entire state of California to fit this space. We have one main yard and 3 smaller yards, as well as some below-deck storage and an off-layout setup room. We're a point-to-point layout running from San Bernardino, California, all the way up to Eugene, Oregon. For ease of running, we have 2 hidden loops on the layout, one that allows a 180-degree return, and another which allows for continuous running all the way in one direction around the layout. We have 500 feet of mainline track. The club owns approximately 300 pieces of rolling stock and 20 engines. Club members also bring in their own engines and rolling stock to run on the layout. One of the best parts about this layout is that guests can get up close and personal with it. We have this viewing area of Simi Valley right here in the front, but we also have the ability to give tours throughout the entire layout, and that's what we're going to do today. Some of our member leaders are here to take you on a wonderful detailed tour, and I'm going to pass you off to them. I hope you enjoy.
I'm John Sechrist. I'm the train master here at the Santa Susana Model Railroad Club. When we begin, we start here at Griffin Yard, which is a depiction of the Taylor Yard in Los Angeles back in the day. We pretty much model the railroad in the mid-1950s. That way we can have the first generation of diesel and the last generation of steam trains. This is where we do our classification. Like we have a little switcher here that would make it up. We have a set of reefers ready to go out, and we might follow one of these trains all the way around. And along Alameda, we have structures from the 1950s. We have Bank of America, which the logo looked like in the 1950s. We have Studebaker, which is no longer around, an old car company. Atlantic Richfield Station that used to be bright yellow. That's how you could tell it was Atlantic Richfield. And Brew 102 is a LA-based beer company that was here until 1976. They closed down in 1976. As our train comes down here on the main line, it's going to cross the crossovers here, which is the beginning of the San Pedro branch. This is an extension of Alameda. And you can see all the different drop-off points we have for shippers. We have Whitefront, we have the Capital Milling Company, we have Angela's Furniture, Famous Helms Bakery, which drops off sugar and flour, and then the S.E. Rykoff Company, which pretty much handle all kinds of produce and canned goods. I'm sure you've heard of Farmer John. It's in Vernon, but we have it kind of here in San Pedro. Some freight offices. And then right here, this is where the ocean would be, so a big ship would come in, and it would be dropped off. They use the crane possibly to pick off some shipping materials like coconuts or bananas or coffee. So yeah, this is our area here for San Pedro. And this is the end or the extension of our San Pedro branch. As you can see, we actually have the railroad go right down to the middle of the street. And once again, we have all these different places that we use for operations. We drop off or pick up cars. So here we have the San Pedro Bay. And back in the day, they actually used to dump the trash out in the ocean. You can see that we have that here depicted. We have Starkiss, Charlie Tuna. We have a fire department. We have the Pacific Electric San Pedro Station branch. And we also have a little park. Kids you can see playing basketball, playing checkers, going on the roundabout. And yeah, we're pretty happy with this part. The main line runs along the wall behind the San Pedro branch. Where the train enters a hidden trackage to get to the front peninsula near Simi Valley.
My name is Wayne Maynard. I'm the superintendent and the DCC chairman for our railroad. Our railroad uses Digitrax as its digital command control system. And we have occupancy detection using the BDL 168s, and that drives our signaling system. It's all run through a computer that runs train controller software. The computer takes all of the inputs from the various Digitrax devices reporting over the LocoNet, and then it reads what the current status of the railroad is with turnout positions and occupancy. So the computer takes all of the inputs from the Digitrax components, and then it outputs the switch commands to drive the signal aspects. And that's how our signaling system works. This is the train controller software, and this is a layout, the depiction of our layout. And anytime a block is occupied, it indicates in orange. And then the computer uses that logic to turn the aspects for all these signal heads to whatever it needs to be based on the occupancy and also the turnout position. One of the interesting design features we put in is for control of the diamonds, where we have an interlock where there's a turnout that allows trains to cross the diamonds, and when that turnout is thrown to allow that operation, it turns the signals red on the main lines before entering the diamonds. So it protects the diamonds from any type of interference with the train crossing the main lines. Our signaling system is set up to be prototypical for a railroad signaling system. However, about 80% of our usage is freelance for our operators. And so there's some logic built into our computer that, for example, doesn't allow a train to leave Salinas unless there's a landing spot for him in Camarillo, because you're transversing a very long single main. Our engineers have several ways that they can operate their throttles on the railroad. We have ports that can be plugged in, and we've had Digitrax for so long, we have all of the different systems. We have the simplex radios, the duplex radios, and the Wi-Fi radios. So this allows anybody using our railroad to use any Digitrax throttles that they have. They'll all be compatible with our railroad.
Hi, I'm Richard Parshall. Been a long-term member of this club. We've been here for over 40 years, and I'm going to be talking about Santa Susana. This is a large peninsula, the first area we built in the club, and we've had several areas we have upgraded, and I would like to show those to you. And we try to put historical sites on the layout, and you'll see over here the A&W root beer stand. This was the place to go in Simi Valley back in the days. And it's not here anymore, but we do have a model on the layout. To the left of the root beer stand, we have the rock quarry. The rock quarry in real life was just down the road a few hundred feet. And we got kind of carried away doing the rock quarry. We made it an immense quarry, and it was nothing like that in real life, but we've had fun doing it. Across from the rock quarry, you'll see a kind of a nondescript building and two silver cars there. Those are helium cars. Santa Susana was part of the whole rocket scene going to the moon because helium came into Rocketdyne on the local track, and we had a building about a mile down the road that pumped the helium up to Rocketdyne. The helium was used to clean out the nozzles after test firings. Behind me, we built an example of Corriganville. Corriganville was built by Crash Corrigan back in the 30s, and they made over 3,500 movies there, and we've just tried to show a little bit of that. We have over here the railroad station that we're actually standing in here. It's a very prototypical model of the station. We're very proud of it. And then we have a little bit of downtown Santa Su. This is in the 1950s, so that 2-lane road is now a 4-lane road with curbs and medians. Further up the road, we have a crude oil loading facility, and that's a new addition within the last few years. And way up at the end of the peninsula, we built a really nice model of sun-kissed citrus warehouse. And there are refrigerator cars up there right now being loaded.
Hi, my name's Bill Carroll. I've been here a long time also. I know all the ins and outs of the railroad, so they have me do maintenance of way. I fix all the track. Our railroad uses automatic block signals, ABS. They give you occupancy out in front of you plus turnouts in your direction. As you can see, after the reefer block clears, the SDs are waiting for a signal and a turnout to turn, which will give us a green. Oh, there we got it. Now we can go. This loop represents Cuesta Grade. It carries the trains up to our second deck. It will emerge along the back wall on its way to Salinas.
My name is Doug Bragg. I'm current vice president of the club. I've been a member of the club for approximately 13 years, and I was responsible for development of the day and night lighting system on this railroad. Of all the day-night lighting systems I've seen on various railroads, I think ours is probably one of the most advanced systems. Our light fixtures contain 2 strips of LEDs. One strip is for high-intensity white lights, natural white lights that are used for brightness to illuminate the railroad. And the second strip is RGB colored strips to create the color effects during sunset and sunrise. The system is controlled by a DMX 512 protocol developed on a computer and uploaded into the controller that controls the system. The system contains a scene that we cycle for our visitors to the railroad on the weekends. It's about a 5-minute scene. It starts by creating sunset, going deep into the night, and then sunrise in the morning. It goes through the colors from the natural white to an amber to magenta to a light blue, and it gets to a deeper, darker blue until we get to total darkness. Then we have the reverse of that cycle coming back into daytime. The lighting fixtures were built by me because there was nothing available on the market. The sides and top of the boxes are manufactured from MDF construction wood. We have baffles within the fixtures, which were made from Fox Venetian blind materials. And the 2 strips, the lighting strips, are mounted onto a flat aluminum bar, and that's installed at a slight angle. The design of the fixtures are so that the fixtures are directly above the aisle. Nobody really sees the high intensity brightness of the lights themselves, particularly because of the baffles within the fixture.
The train has now traversed the loop and gained enough elevation to get to the second level of the layout. This area represents the central coast of California near San Ardo. The train rounds the corner as it makes its way into Salinas. Salinas is one of our newer additions to the layout, and we have had a lot of fun turning this shelf into an agriculture community. We had a really sorry looking trestle here, and Ron got working on it. He rebuilt all the trestles, put in new vegetation and gravel, and turned it into a scenery item. We're really proud of that. As we move forward through here, we have a city park with an old steam engine the railroad donated to the city. We have a very, very nice detailed Salinas passenger station. This model was first built by Chris, and David took a hold of it and completely redid it into one of the best examples of a passenger station on the line. Right next to the steam engine, we have a gazebo and a local band set up performance there. And they drew quite a crowd. You can see a crowd there and a couple policemen kind of keep an eye on things. Further to the west, you'll see one of our oldest motels, and there's a lot of activity going on there. Engine trouble, newly married couple, things like that. Further down, you see a white building next to a tractor store, and that building is an exact copy of a store that Bill, a member of the club, his grandfather worked in. One of the senior fellows took a photo of the store and turned it into a model. We're pretty proud of that. As we move further west, you see agricultural equipment for sale. And finally, we get way down to the other end where all our boxed vegetables are being loaded onto refrigerator cars. And we end up Salinas at one of our largest buildings on the layout, and that is our beet factory. And we even have a beet train that brings beets in there regularly, and they cook the beets down into beet sugar. The smokestack is so large, Bill had to put a flashing red light on the top of it to keep planes from crashing into it.
And this is our Felton branch. It starts back off there in Salinas, right next to the sugar beet factory. And it comes up here, and we service the lumber company and the lumber mill there, and it's quite detailed on the inside. Comes back up, and pretty soon we're going to have some other shipping facility back here, maybe Dictymetrius Earth or something like that. But anyway, this is our furthest section away from the main line of the railroad, is the Felton branch.
We use two different types of operations. One of them is we have real casual. About 5 or 6 guys come in and there's not a real timetable or anything. We just kind of move trains around with our waybills. They like to use our color-coded waybills, and it's a standard waybill that you've seen everywhere else. I got a little tired of those, and we have another set of operations where the guys come in. They're really hardcore guys. I have 8 or 9 of them come in. We have a timetable, and we use timetable and train order for that one. The guys really love it. And then we use a more authentic looking waybill, and the guys like these also. I put down like where they're from. I did some of the routing on some of them, so as you follow it across the country, you can see what railroads it went into. This is the town of Reading. It's one of our waybill stops. We have 3 trains that come in. They drop off 5 cars and pick up 5 cars. Both of our sets of guys, they like interacting with the yard masters that are here and having the switcher do his stuff, and they have to take their engines off, make sure all their paperwork is right, and then they take off. I have 4 of them that come here. You can see my hopper train in the back. It comes up and exchanges loads for empties. It's actually my best running train.
Coming out of Reading, we entered the area of Mount Shasta. In Mount Shasta, we did some things to encourage the idea of depth and height of the mountain. We have HO scale figures in the front, and then climbing the mountain, we have some N scale figures. One of our crown jewels here is the Shasta Springs Spring House. This is where Shasta soft drinks were bottled and made, and this was actually located on the Southern Pacific Main Line, and so trains would come, drop off passengers, they'd pick up soft drinks and spring water, and take them home. Pretty cool spot. If you look over my left shoulder, you'll see Mount Shasta, which is where we just were. From Mount Shasta, we go downgrade on this long 40-ish foot run through a helix in the mountain and then emerge into our last scenic area of the layout, which is Dunsmuir in Northern California. Here in Dunsmuir, we have a signal, we have a small train station, suburban propane, standard oil, and a few team tracks. This is one of our operational areas of the layout. Coming from East Dunsmuir, we pass through a nice large yard with lots of interesting track work and areas for switching and operations. And then we enter another one of our jewels of the layout, and that's this roundhouse, turntable, and maintenance of way area. We've got sanding lines, oil, our turntable which operates, and a beautiful roundhouse done by one of our members, Kimmy Lombino, that actually has a removable roof. It's detailed inside. We've got our spreader and maintenance of way equipment. Beyond the roundhouse, we've got a Boy Scout camp built by Pat Wade. It's lit, has a really cool fire aspect to it, and we actually just had some Boy Scouts in here, and they loved this camp. So this is our Dunsmuir area. From here, the main line winds around the base of Mount Shasta and enters the end of our layout where we have our return loops, and that's in Eugene, Oregon, and that's the termination of things.
In our train room, we also have a display with some of our treasured trains. This train right here is a World War II train. It was made by a man named Carl Weber. He has since passed away, but we love his train. He's the kind of guy that if you ask him a World War II question, you better have an hour. And we all know a guy like that. This one was donated to us just recently by a guy named Mr. Keister. This is our California Zephyr. We actually have 3 more cars. This train here was sugar beet cars, both loaded and unloaded. They were hand built by one of our original members named Bill Rayhart. So we have these in the case to protect them and show everybody the possibilities that you can do with model railroading.
Thank you for coming to visit us today, and thank you to our own Dean Dice for helping us document our layout. I'd be remiss in my presidential duties if I didn't mention our membership. We have approximately 30 members, ranging in age from teenage family members to feisty octogenarians. As a group, they volunteer dozens of hours per week to keep the layout in good running order. If you'd like to drop by for them to show it off to you in person, we're open to the public Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 4 p.m., and we look forward to seeing you. Thanks.